involved, so they have various tools to.
Have you thought about using image recognition to just automate the process? Because let's assume you got 1 million dresses or whatever, right? And if you're taking 4 or 5 pictures of each one of those just to showcase on your website, so you got like 5 million pictures. So image recognition against 5 million pictures should be, like 15 milliseconds or whatever.
Sure, I think, there's still like this element, like you can identify the style and so on, the size maybe, if you're really good with your image processing. But there's still like lots of physical elements and human elements that are required. They have an entire staff of seamstresses and seamsters. Actually, I don't know if they're male seamsters up there, but they're literally sewing the dresses, so they need to have a more intimate connection to some of the imagery than just like having a camera that identifies it using some sort of image recognition thing. But I can imagine that there's scenarios where that would make sense. I think now it's probably cheaper for us. I assume that it's probably cheaper for us to simply hire more staff to do things at certain levels of just like identifying the dress, because the barcodes don't fall off that often. Right?
Ford is not doing that.
Well, it's also the tracking like repairs, number of times through the dry cleaner, number of times it's been through a QA station.
We need to track each individual dress. So image recognition would be good for a style, but it can't tell you if I have like 100 units of medium size dress. It doesn't differentiate
Right, but you will still have, let's say, about 80% of fail-safe rate. Assuming you have like multiple sizes and we're taking, like I said, 5 images of each dress. So, you're, in the end, you've got about 1,000 images for that style. And when the dress comes in, automated, they would be, but if you're taking 10 pictures of that dress, when that dress comes in, you can find out what size it is.
But we have to track the individual unit.
Right,
We
so
need to
there
know
will be
how, like, the
100.
actual,
You have to get a picture of
every instance of that dress. needs to be tracked.
Absolutely. Out of those 10 images, somewhere you will find some identifying information, like, as you mentioned, the guy that's getting the box in, he's looking at the barcode on the box itself, or he's looking at the barcode on the dress. So when you're taking 10 pictures automatically, you'll just find out by itself. So 90% of that physical work is gone away. And in the cases where, as you said, people are like, putting on different barcodes and, doing this or that, well, that's kind of no-brainer. So your entire thing is automated to about 95%. And whatever's left, you can automatically flag it and then have somebody look at it and say, okay, so.
Yeah, it's possible. We could put something like that.
What about the Ruby front end? Why did they go Ruby front end instead of proceeding with Jersey or Java?
So I think the rentthrowaway.com storefront team uses Ruby far more than our team does. We have our web application layer is just, its needs are less complicated. There's some people from that team here. I think that Ruby, it's effectively like, a Ruby web application serving JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. That is, there's sort of like a community around web application or product development in that technology that is maybe easier to hire for, easier to develop for. There's certain things that are easier to do, but I'm not a Ruby developer. I don't really have expertise there.
Yeah, I think that's the gist of it. I think that we wouldn't want to be doing like writing templates. Tooling is so much better in Ruby and JavaScript. I think, like you said, it's people feel more comfortable. I think some people have this notion that Java is a basic language and things like that. And that it feels better on the server side than on the client side.
Aside from the choice of language, is the web front end just like an API consumer/producer as well, or does it talk directly into your backend systems?
Our Ruby layer does not talk to the database at all. So it acts as basically like an HTTP client to the backend services, the Java services, and then bridges to the front end like clients, whether they be like mobile phones or I guess, tablets, because we have them in my OS phones, which talks to the service, right?
And it uses the same database that your warehouse uses?
Yeah, the same database server.
Right. Right. So literally you just have one database, you don't have any issues with, I guess, replicating from, your inventory to your front end versus your warehouse. You don't have to do it.
I mean, I think we're, we have traffic, but like I said, we're not, heavy writing like that it causes issues.
We have tons of cache. Are there any future plans to upgrade your stuff?
I mean, I think that we've gone through a major replatforming. When the business first started, it was built by consultants, and it was like a PHP Drupal shop, and it was a huge monolith. And there was just there were problems with them. It didn't scale the same way, and they started hollowing it out service by service and moving it out into these Java services that we talked about. And then they started rewriting the front end stuff in Ruby and JavaScript. I think that any further technology stack changes are more like client-side libraries, like maybe choices between like backbone and React versus things like that, as opposed to saying we're gonna go to Scala or something like that. I don't think that's happening.
I mean, we're pushing ourselves to keep up to date with Java. We upgraded all our services to API and try to keep up to date with that.
Do the different teams have any sort of make any guarantees about API life cycles? So given that you're exploring a client, that another team can just grab and use. If you want to change the API, how that works, you could end up disrupting a bunch of different teams doing different things. So how do you guys coordinate that?
I mean, I think we're still like a relatively small team. I think we're like 60 something like that. And so it acts sort of like as open source within the company. Like if you want to change the client, you can, and you just have to manage all the other consumers. And a lot of the times, we do things in like a backwards compatible way. Like you're adding an extra field, it's not usually a big deal. You're adding an extra endpoint, it's not. But hopefully, if you're writing things well, your server side stuff, you're able to make changes without having to expose that to the clients. But in the event that happens, then sure, you have to manage that process, and sometimes that happens. But usually, it's not as bad as you would think. Well, thank you for great talk.
Please.
Thank you.
What position?
Occupancy.